If you have watched a few of my videos, I'm sure you know that my favorite author is C.S. Lewis. At least at the moment. Probably forever. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, it's C.S. Lewis. Never have I been disappointed by a book of his. Never have I not been blown away by a book of his. He is the only author where if I see a book out in the wild that I do not have, I just get it. Because I know for sure I'm going to read it soon. I, over my life, have acquired quite a few of his works. Not all of them. No. But many. Many. And I love them. I've read most of them, but not all. Many I've read multiple times. And I love them. I have divided his books into different categories. 4 different categories. I have, I guess, Biography and Letters, one category. Next category is literary criticism, then fiction. And then, I guess, religious nonfiction, books about Christianity, about God. I've never pulled them all off my shelf like this before. And I kind of had more than I thought. And I like that. So let's just get started. Okay, over to our first category, which is going to be letters and biography. It's my smallest category. So the first one I have is Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer. This book is kind of a combo of letters and, I guess, religious nonfiction. But I've added it to my letters pile. We also have here Surprised by Joy by C.S. Lewis, The Shape of My Early Life. It's kind of a little autobiography of how he became a Christian, his imagination. Very good. And then the last thing in this category are my volumes of his letters. This is a box set of just volumes 1 and 2, but there is a 3rd volume, and I'm looking for it. I'm on the hunt. If you see it, let me know. I want it so bad. I read the first volume, and it was very good. And the second one, I think, is calling my name very soon. So, we will see. So enjoyable. These are so enjoyable to read. The next category we're going to look at is his literary criticism. Now for Lewis, his literary criticism, when he wrote about books, that was his main thing. It kind of isn't what we think of him as much anymore. Like, we often think about his Christian works, we think about Narnia, but he spent most of his time and energy writing about books and writing essays, and he was a teacher. And so I like to pay a lot of attention to this category because he thought it was important. And so I think it's important too because I'm obsessed with it. Okay. The first one I have in this category is a preface to Paradise Lost, which I plan to read before I read Paradise Lost again. I have dibble-dabbled in Paradise Lost, but I have not read the whole thing. But I will, so don't you worry. Okay, this is perhaps a collection of essays. I'm actually not sure. It's my most recent edition. It's called, or addition to this collection. It is called A Study in Words by C.S. Lewis. Again, something about books and stories. And I'm sure it's going to be great. But I have not read it yet. I found this big boy at a used bookstore not too long ago. It is English Literature in the 16th Century by C.S. Lewis, which, I'm sorry, absolutely delicious. Ottawa Public Library, discarded. That hurts. Libraries are always getting rid of good books. I do not get it. I do not get it. Next, we have another fun paperback. It is called The Allegory of Love. This is about medieval tradition. I have not read this one either. A lot of these are fairly recent, within the last year or two. So I have not gotten to them. But I love the orange. This next book is a collection of essays on Mallory, but I only grabbed it because C.S. Lewis wrote an essay, not because I know anything about Mallory. Oh, the paper in this is nice. Beautiful. The next one is called The Personal Heresy by C.S. Lewis and Tilliard. And this is all about the role that an author plays in the work and how much attention do you have to pay to the author when you're reading a work. Is it separate? Are they dependent on one another? Here's a beautiful little summary. A vigorous debate on the role of the writer's personality and background in literary interpretation. I've read bits of that, I think, in other contexts, but I haven't read through the whole book. Wow, going through this is just making me desperately want to read all the ones I have not read. Okay, I just read this one in November, not too long ago, and it is called The Discarded Image by C.S. Lewis, An Introduction to Medieval and Renaissance Literature. It was a little challenging, but very interesting. I read it with my book club, actually, so it's nice. Okay, and then the final one we have in this category is An Experiment in Criticism by C.S. Lewis, which I feel like is a pretty well-known one out of his literary criticism works. But I just read that last month. Very good. Okay, moving on to the next category, we have fiction. You know, I always want to say maybe my favorite category, but then I look back on the other ones and hard to say. Fiction's pretty high. Also, the letters are very high up in my heart. I loved the letters, which is wild because, like, to think that the thing that I love to read, like, it is just his personal correspondence with his brother and his dad and his friends when he spent all this time writing these great works as well. I don't know if he would find that disappointing. But so much of his thought and ideas come out in the letters in kind of an organic way, which I really like. You sort of can see his thought developing and forming. And you can see, like, the first time he comes across a book that you know he's going to end up loving and that's really going to shape his thought. It's kind of exciting to see it roll out in real time. Okay, but moving on to fiction. The first one I have here is The Pilgrim's Regress, and have not read this one. I think it's very much an allegory. Riffing off Bunyan. Can't wait. Okay, now you might find this wild, but I do not own all of the Narnia books. My parents had a copy growing up, and they still have a copy at their place, but I've just recently been trying to acquire the ones I haven't had. And when I was actually visiting my parents over Christmas, I reread their copy because I wanted to read it. And I still didn't have my own, but I thought this is an essential thing that I need to get. So I've started collecting this edition, which I think are fun. Anyway, of the Narnias, I have The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. I have The Magician's Nephew. I have The Horse and His Boy. This is one of my favorite covers from this from these editions. And The Last Battle. So whenever I pop into a used bookstore, I always take a peek and see if they have any of the ones I'm missing. Okay, and next we have Screwtape Letters. I've also read this two, maybe 3 times. I don't remember. The format is there's a little devil in training, and his mentor, the senior devil, is sending him letters. And so we're reading the letters from the senior devil, who is teaching this junior devil how to tempt humans. Very fun to read. And as per usual, C.S. Lewis just somehow dives right deep down into your soul. All right, we have another big boy. That is a Space Trilogy. I sort of hate that all three are in one volume. It makes it very difficult to read because it's hard to bring places. But the stories themselves are wonderful. Narnia gets so much attention, and if you have not read the Space Trilogy, I highly recommend it. It's so different, so don't think it's the same. It's so different. It's science fiction, but it's so good. So, highly recommend that. And the last, do I not have? Oh, I really thought I owned The Great Divorce. Interesting. Good to know. Sorry, the last fiction book, got distracted there, is Till We Have Faces, a novel of Cupid and Psyche. It's a retelling of the myth of Cupid and Psyche. Also incredible. Very good. Very good. Also just reread this. I have been on a Lewis bender the past few months. Okay, well, yeah, I really thought I had The Great Divorce. Maybe I thought it was my parents' book and I left it at home and did not bring it. All right, and our final category is Christianity, religious nonfiction. And we have the 4 loves, about 4 different types of love. Do I remember them? Agape, philia, plus 2 more different kinds of love. Then we have a collection of essays called God in the Dock, various essays on God and ethics. Tragically, this copy has a misprint. There's a big chunk of it that happens twice, and then it's missing a big chunk. And I didn't notice till way after I bought it. But maybe one day I'll replace it, or I don't know if these essays are in other places as well. Great essays in here. Great essays. All right, then we have Reflections on the Psalms, which is exactly what it sounds like, just some thoughts that he has had while reading the Psalms. Wildly impressive and deep for just his thoughts. It makes you realize you got to think some more, you know, that we don't think very hard. Oh yes, okay, C.S. Lewis, Miracles. Also love this edition. I'm unsure. Oh, the wheat and the fish. Oh, I get it now. I was going to say I don't understand the cover, but it's wheat, it's fish. Has to do with miracles. And then the last one of his I have is Mere Christianity. Beautiful. Wow, I am missing some staples. I don't have Observed by Grief, Observed, I don't know about grief. I need Great Divorce. I need to finish Narnia. I'm sure I'm missing others. Anyway, I do have a lot. I love them. Most of them I've read multiple times. And I'm going to keep reading them multiple times. I would love to know who your favorite author is. Leave them below. I'd love to know if you've read any of these Lewis books, if you love Lewis. If you don't like him, you can keep it to yourself because you're wrong. You just need to work on yourself. And that's how I feel. But thank you for watching this and listening. Please like, please subscribe. There's a bunch of links in the description, various discount codes and such. And I will talk to you again so soon. Mwah.